Good morning, and I truly hope that everybody out there who is watching this is enjoying their summer because I am truly enjoying mine. Even though all I do is mostly work 5 days of the week, I still like to get out and have some fun on my own, so I'm just not a true workaholic. So, whether it's going out fanning, going to play basketball, I like to take some time to do things on my own. And speaking of summer, the only big thing that I did do this year was go to Six Flags Great Adventures, and that was on Independence Day, as everybody calls July 4th. So whoever celebrates July 4th, because I truly don't, um, I hope y'all have fun. I hope y'all got to see the fireworks. The only thing I really do is check out the fireworks and stuff like that. Maybe a cookout or two, but that's really just about it. Enough blabbering on my end. It is about time that I show you these clips of how my day went at Six Flags Great Adventure. So without further ado, we're about to go right into that right now. I'm pretty sure some of you recall that on Instagram I put up a video of my excitement plus me plus on this particular clip and a video stating that it was official that I was going to Six Flags Great Adventure. So, how I went about it is first I woke up, and then of course I made sure I got ready and stuff like that. I went to go take the 24 to Broad and Market in Newark, and from there I took the 21 to Penn Station to go get the tickets, and I had to make sure I was getting the right thing. So I bought the tickets for, including the round trip bus ticket and the park entry, for a good $69. And it's not really a bad deal. So my excitement was overwhelming me this morning. I was doing cha-chas on the platform of the train station and stuff like that. So my excitement was really getting good. So I know it's still kind of early, so I had to do something to kill time. So my bus wasn't scheduled to leave until 10 o'clock in the morning. So I just went to the platform and see what trains was gonna roll by and stuff like that before I go on my big adventure. So that's where this picture comes in play, and that's just about that. On to the next clip. What you're looking at right here is an MCID 4000 number 8087. In the video that I posted on Instagram and my YouTube channel as my introductory, I stated that the bus that I was catching was going to be a hybrid D4500, and I was looking forward to that. And I seen this bus parked here, and then I'm thinking, I don't know what it is. Maybe a 67. I don't know. And then when I seen it says Six Flags Great Adventure, my hopes kind of drained a little bit because I was hoping for the hybrid. But yeah, I was still thankful that I was getting on the bus to go to Six Flags anyway. So it wasn't a complete loss, but I was hoping to ride nothing but hybrids all day. But don't get me wrong, this bus ride was, well, the bus ride was rather loud, to be honest, because a bunch of ruffians decided to blast some music, and I had a feeling I might get a word from YouTube because of copyright claims. But aside from that, but the bus itself was alright. It was alright. The driver was mad cool. So yeah. Um, the next clip you're gonna see is once I finally get to Six Flags Great Adventure. So stay tuned for the next clip in a few seconds. As I got off the bus and I was heading towards the first ride that I was looking for, the first thing I saw was this little fountain. Well, not little, but as you can see, people threw coins in there. They use this as a make-a-wish fountain and stuff like that. It was really pretty, so I decided to take a picture of it and make that one of my clips for my visitation vlogs. So I don't really have much to say about this fountain, but this was, how can I put this? I was making sure that I find this for later on because you know how certain people tend to get lost. So I had to make sure I remember the main landmark that you'll see in the park. So without further ado, on to the next one. By the way, this was a very pretty fountain. I really liked it. I'm really not gonna lie. I truly, truly liked it. My first ride of that day was the Joker. And I had my stuff and I took it with me, only to find out that I couldn't have stuff brought into me with the ride, so I had to rent a kiosk locker, which was annoying. But I had to get the job done if I wanted to get on that ride. So after I put my stuff in the kiosk locker, I definitely went towards the line. It took about a few minutes for me to get on there, but nevertheless, I managed to get my turn, and I was of course by myself, so hey, there was other people getting a ride, and I was wondering how this would be. I haven't been on a roller coaster in years. I'm gonna say years. And knowing me, I have a thrill for heights. I love heights. Especially the ones that go upside down, straight down, that makes you feel, I don't know, it's very intense. Something about me and roller coasters are intense. But the Joker was a great ride, and that's, you could obviously see that I was truly enjoying my time on that. And it was time for me to go to my next ride. If I'm not riding trains out in the open, I am definitely going to be riding one in the theme park. And that day was no exception, especially when I decided to ride the Harley Quinn Crazy Train. So, if you know me, I love trains. And just to point out real quick, the reason I didn't get a closer shot was because we couldn't have cell phones on each ride for the fact that it may slip out our hand or it may fall out if the ride decides to go upside down, or depending on the velocity and the scientific measurements behind that, the phone could just rise from our pockets as the ride is going straight down. Well, anyways, there's more to that, and I'm not gonna get into that. But we're not allowed to have phones on the ride, so I took a picture from a distance after I rode the ride. But when I got on the ride, I really literally made sure I got dibs on the front of the train. And the people operating the rides were mad cool. They were mad chill, and some people got busted for being on their phones, but not on my ride though, but there was before mine. But I really loved the ride. It wasn't the best ride that I went on, but you got two whole rounds, so because of how short it was. So I definitely made sure that I made the best out of it. So yeah, the Harley Quinn Crazy Train. It wasn't exactly crazy, but it was something. I'll tell you that much. And yeah, Arr, it's EastWest Buckler. What about E-Ride, my tees? You know what? I don't even know why I'm doing this pirate voice. I don't know the meaning behind the word swashbuckler, so you know what? Screw it. Anyway, among the many rides that I rode at Six Flags Great Adventure, and I say that ride, it reminded me of the ones that you would see during the carnivals where you would go inside and then they would keep you like one of those gravity rides where you're strapped in and stuff like that, and you're kind of like stuck to the wall while it's still spinning and stuff like that. The only difference was that it wasn't as fast as the regular ones that you would normally see, so it wasn't the best ride of my choice. But either way, I was doing whatever ride I could ride on to kill time until it was time for the bus going back to Penn Station to depart. So this ride was no exception. I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy it, and I was just being silly on this ride. If you know me, I love anime, so as my head is back was stuck to it, I was doing jutsu hand signs and stuff like that. Just chakra control and stuff like that. But I was truly enjoying it. So I'm thinking I was gonna be dizzy after I got off this ride, but apparently not. So this ride is another one of the rides you should ride when you go to Six Flags one day, if you decide to. Time for me to go to the other ends of the park and show you what I had going on over there. I've always wanted to ride in one of these. After coming off the Skyway, I already knew what ride I wanted to do next. And yes, it was a water ride, as you can see from this picture. I can't exactly remember what the name of this ride was. I think it was the Best of the West or something like that. I think I forgot. I know I had the word saloon in it, but I really forgot. But anyway, I was going to this ride and I noticed the ride was not that long, but it was long enough. And then as I was going to the line, I met somebody and he was into anime just as much as I was. So I made a "It's Goku" comment and he turned around And then that's when we started talking, and then I showed him my Uchiha tattoo, and he knew that Naruto was my favorite show. So as we're waiting to get onto the ride, the line was going at a fair pace. And it's not like one of those rides where you had to wait like 2 minutes after people get out and stuff like that. It's whenever the next water log or whatever that thing appeared. So as we kept talking about our favorite characters, our favorite shows and stuff like that, like the abilities and stuff like that. And next thing you knew, we made it to the top, and then we had to go downstairs to the ride, and it was really fun. I truly enjoyed it. I enjoyed his company, and I truly enjoyed the fact that it was. Oh my goodness, I can't describe it. That was one of the quickest moments where a line went down that fast because I met somebody of the same interest. So once we hit the ride and the ride was over, I kind of exchanged my information, but I don't think I've heard from him since, and I'm okay with that. If we ever decide to meet again, hopefully it won't be for those few minutes. So after I did that ride, I went on to the next one. By the way, I was planning on riding this ride again afterwards. After that ride, I decided to go hit up Green Lantern because something about that ride was drawing me in, and I knew that was one of the rides that I never rode on the last time I came to Six Flags, and I think it was because it wasn't there at the time. Um, this picture was taken when I was going back towards the park entrance, and I'm not going to lie, I had my phone in the kiosk locker by Green Lantern, but I forgot to take the picture because of the hypeness of that ride. Plus, I was headed towards King Dakar, which I also forgot to take a picture of right there and then, but don't worry, you'll see the picture. This one wasn't the best, but it was what I could grab, so I apologize for the picture. But anyways, Green Lantern was the ride I was also looking forward to because I knew about that ride. I would truly be thrilled. And instead of those roller coaster rides where you're sitting down, you're holding the bar as you stand up. So this ride also had some loops, some upside down. Well, I'm sorry for the stuttering. The upside down loops and stuff like that. It was so awesome. I really loved that ride. Among my top 5 favorites of all the rides that I rode on at Six Flags. So another highly recommended ride. I should have rode it twice, but I was really looking forward to going to King Dakar, so after I did this ride, King Dakar's where I was headed next. King Dakar, my ultimate favorite ride of Six Flags. And as I mentioned in the last segment, I didn't get a close-up picture of King Dakar, so I grabbed it from the Sky Wheel. So, not Sky Wheel, Skyway. So, I went to King Dakar after I hit up Green Lantern, and I knew from the moment that I was going to love it. Ever since it first came out, that was my ultimate ride to ride. It goes 456 feet into the air at a 90-degree angle, and on top of that, it exceeded speeds of 128 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. That is definitely the ride for me, considering one, I rode America's fastest train, which is the Acela Express, and it goes up to 150, but I never hit the 150 mark, so I don't care. I hit the world's fastest roller coaster, so I'm cool with that. I'm highly cool with that. But anyway, prior to me riding that ride, there was a delay, a technical difficulty to be exact. So it took about 20 minutes for it to get resolved. And there was a bunch of people leaving, so it left me some space to hit up another seat so I don't have to wait for the next coaster. And I was so ecstatic. I was ready to take off what may have been my most nerve-wracking ride in my whole roller coaster riding career. So, long story short, after the delay got fixed and everybody was able to ride it, I definitely did that. So, after I got to the top of the roller coaster, after it hit the 128 miles per hour speed, I looked at the park and it was such a lovely view. And oh my gosh, when you go straight down, ooh, oh my god, oh my god, your heart was pounding for your life. But oh my god, that ride was so awesome, so thrilling. It was so good that I rode it twice. So after the second time that I rode it, this time was no delay. If I recall correctly, no delay. Yeah, I don't think it was a delay that time. If it was, it's probably for about 5 minutes that time. So, yep. I enjoyed that ride and I moved on to El Toro. The fastest wooden roller coaster. El Toro. Another one of my favorite rides at Six Flags Great Adventure, even though that was my favorite ride, but I knew it would be my favorite. So after I hit up King Dakar, I went to El Toro, and much like King Dakar, we experienced another technical difficulty. So I already knew that I passed my test when waiting for the delay to be fixed, and despite the fact they was repeating it over and over again, but not like Six Flags. I mean, not like my goodness, not like Kingdom Car. I'm like, I already waited long enough to ride Kingdom Car twice, so I'm gonna wait long enough to ride this one. And I knew I liked that one because I rode it twice. And I'm not just talking about Kingdom Car. I'm talking about El Toro. I rode that ride twice too. So let's see. It was very awesome. And after the difficulty was solved, it was time to ride the ride. And for some reason, after I hit the top and we went straight down, I felt like I was going to hit my head on those beams because I'm tall. For those who don't know me in person, I'm 6'1", and I had to make sure my head don't hit the beams and stuff like that. Well, it was nowhere close, but the fact was that I was tall enough, and I felt like I was going to hit it. So the ride was spectacular. I truly enjoyed it, and like I said, I rode it twice. So it was, ooh, that thing could run. But if you decide to ride El Toro, I highly recommend it. And after I finished El Toro, I wanted to go back on that water ride that I showed y'all earlier. And guess what happens? What happened next is that I found another train ride. So I saw the Runaway mine train and I decided I wanted to ride that too. And I'm pretty sure y'all thought I was gonna say I went back on the water ride next, but I saved that for last. But about the mine train, it was pretty good. The line was long, but in due time, of course, we made it to the top of that platform. And this time I figured I already went on the front of the train during the Harley Quinn crazy train. So I decided to sit in the back this time. So after it was my time to ride the train, I had the whole back seat to myself, so I was chilling. And later on, we just took off and explored wherever the train looped de loop and stuff like that. It was definitely amazing. Um, Not the greatest ride, but it's not the worst ride. So I'm not going to complain about it because I enjoyed it, but I wanted to enjoy more. So after I hit up this ride, I ran up to the water park, not the water park. I went back to that ride that I rode on after I came off the skyway, and you already know. I was ready for round two. Coming off the Runaway mine train, I went back to the water ride, and I just wanted to get soaked one good time because the first time I didn't really get that soaked. So I was by myself, and they couldn't save one person by themselves because they could fit at least 5 people on there. So after I went on mine, they sent a family of two out on the same one I was on, and I couldn't really complain because it was their policy and stuff like that. So I took the time to enjoy that. And this time around, after I went back, I really got soaked. Better than the first time I went there. So yeah, I truly enjoyed that one, and it was time for me to head back because I knew it was getting late. And if I went on another ride, I probably would cut it close to the time the 308 back to Port Authority bus terminal was about to leave. So after I did that, I went to the bathroom, changed my clothes, and I headed back onto the Skyway back to near the entrance of the park.
Thank you. Thank you. Yay! Dami ng ikot na ba? Thank you.
It was around 8 o'clock, 8:20ish. I think 8:20ish. Yeah, it's around 8:20ish. Anyway, after coming off the sky wheel, it was time for me to use whatever I had left over to eat me some good old fashioned Chinese food. And I was waiting online, and then there was a guy with, don't take this the wrong way, an Asian family. And he saw my shirt. It was the Love is Patient, Love is Kind shirt. And we struck a conversation, and he asked if I went to a church, and then I said yes. And then we started to hit it off. And I was telling him some things about how faith behavior works, mankind, childlike behavior, and the stuff I'm being told at church. And I hit some points about worrying and fear being a sin. And he had me tell his family that, and they was listening. There was actually a few people listening to what I was saying, or should I say what the Holy Spirit through me was saying. A few people was listening, and as I was nailing it on the head and stuff like that, we exchanged names. I believe his name was Martin, and I told him my name was Joshua, and he told me to stay blessed. He told me to pray. At one point, he asked me to pray for his family. I said, I don't pray for people. I pray over people. And it's more so me being careful how I use certain words and stuff like that, because that's what I'm being taught. And it was a rather interesting experience. So I was able to spread the word through my teachings, and I felt blessed, and I really felt joyful to be able to pass on the fruits of my spirit. And I pray over him that his family will come to the house of God, and I pray that he continues to stay hopeful and stuff like that. So after the conversation ended, it was time for me to choose what I wanted to eat. So I chose a two meat, one side special deal. I had the Kung Pao chicken with the sweet fried chicken breast and some chow mein. Oh my gosh, I was ripping it, and I had some iced tea with that. Ooh, 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 my God, it was so good. Oh my goodness, such delicious food. And knowing me, before I ate, I pray over my food, pray for other people searching for food, and oh my gosh, that food was spicy, but it was nothing I couldn't handle. So I was reflecting upon what transpired between the Christian man and myself and his family, and I really kept him in mind ever since. So it was pleasure. It was pleasure, and we both agreed that it was not coincidence that we met up. So I don't believe it was coincidence either. That shirt I kept for a reason. It was for opportunities like that, where it makes a difference in people's lives and stuff like that. So long after I finished eating, I left the restaurant and I began to head towards the entrance. I found a fountain, and I decided to rest there for a little bit until it was time for me to start heading to the bus stop. I took a selfie to show how much fun I was having, and that was the only selfie I took for that whole day. So I used it to I uploaded this picture on Instagram, and of course now I'm using it on this because I just truly have fun that day. After relaxing for a few moments, yes, it was time for me to leave, and I honestly did not want to leave so early in the day. Even though it's around 9 o'clock, the sun had set and stuff like that, but the bus was scheduled for 21:30 which in a 24-hour format translation, it's 9:30 p.m. So it was time for me to head back to the bus stop. And before I did that, I decided to grab a picture of this entrance right here. So as I was taking a picture, I looked back. Well, not look back. I was looking that same direction the park was. And I was reminiscing a whole blessed day that I had. And I was truly thankful to the Lord that I serve that I was able to have an opportunity to enjoy July 4th in my own way. Which meant just enjoy some time by myself and just rock out. So, as I'm reminiscing, I took a few moments. I gave a small grin or a smile of appreciation and satisfaction, and I started to head towards the bus stop. And as I'm walking towards the bus stop, I hear some fireworks go off in the distance, thinking, why can I leave later? Because I want to see the fireworks. I love fireworks. But I'm not really complaining because I was there for a solid 10 hours. So, yeah. As I headed to the bus stop, I'm waiting for the bus. Well, the bus was already there. It's just that that bus was full. So they had another bus to back up that one that was going to Port Authority Bus Terminal via Newark, Pennsylvania Station. And speaking of buses, the bus of the night is number 7300, which was a D4500 CT CNG. So this bus was going to be taking me to Newark, Pennsylvania Station as it would continue its route onto Port Authority Bus Terminal. So prior to the departure, it was said that the bus will not leave until the seats were full. So I wanted the front seat because I knew I wanted to record the front of the bus of Interstate 195 and the New Jersey Turnpike /95. So I got out of the bus, and of course everybody on the bus was getting on. And then you had a few people that couldn't make up their mind, so they was in and out the bus and stuff like that. Growing slightly annoyed, but yet I had to be patient. I knew it would be time for the bus to leave within a few moments. So I just endured and stuff like that. I just had to endure. So, excuse me. As the bus was getting ready to depart, as the people was still boarding, I kept reminiscing. I kept seeing fireworks going off in the background, and it was just truly beautiful. So I knew it was the perfect way to end my day off of work. And I knew after that day I wasn't going to have a day off of work until Sunday. So I was truly blessed. I was truly joyful. And I said that next time I came back, I was going to go to the water park. So next time I go back to Six Flags Great Adventure, hopefully I have more documentations. Expect another vlog, but I don't know how many you'll probably get, but either way, I hope you look forward to it. And after we got the green light, this bus was departing and on its way back to New York City. So that was that. And I truly thank you for looking at this rather longer than usual check-in as to how I felt about my trip to Six Flags with. I truly appreciate it. And yeah, I truly appreciated it. I truly appreciate it.